Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Listing Agent Accelerator by Dark Horse Commercial. I'm your host, Christian Peter, CCIM. And what we're going to be talking about today is prospecting and, more importantly, the follow-up that you do after, okay? So we call our method persistence prospecting for a very, very good reason. So stay tuned if you want to learn how to unlock those business opportunities that came to you, that you know you can get them, but you just don't know how to often to follow up, and you don't want to be annoying, but you don't want to let some other broker swoop in. Stay tuned and I'll show you exactly how to capitalize on those. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Listing Agent Accelerator by Dark Horse Commercial. I'm your host, Christian Peter. And what we're going to be talking about is persistence prospecting. Persistence prospecting is what we have named our follow-up approach, okay? Now, what that's cool about it is we got to give you a little bit of background in terms of what it is and how to do it, okay? So if you think about it, right, the way human beings got to the top of the food chain was from a tactic called persistence hunting. Now, what persistence hunting was basically, because we were bipedal, which means we walk on our feet, we are able to track our prey. We're able to outlast them. We're able to have a more endurance, okay? So we can follow their tracks, we can follow them along, and finally basically wear them out, okay? In a nice way, that's also what we do to be successful in the commercial brokerage side of things, right? So very few people get business done on the first attempt. In fact, a lot of the listings that I've taken on the very first day, they turn out not to be the best clients. In fact, I would rather have a client sleep on it. I'd rather have a person go back and forth with the paperwork, understand this, understand that. If you think about it, the person that just takes a look at a piece of paper and just signs it right there, they're oftentimes, it's great and it feels awesome at the moment, but what you find over time is that they're oftentimes equally flippant or equally not willing to follow the terms of that piece of paper. Okay, so very important to understand. Now, what I'd like to go through, right, is from the time you talk to someone, you come across an opportunity, and let's say you go and you meet with them and you don't get the listing. What do you do after that? Most people are afraid of a couple things. They're afraid that, oh, shoot, I don't want to call them so much that I annoy them. And then on the other side of that is like, I don't want to let the opportunity slide by and some other broker slips in there. So like, kind of what's the most appropriate way of doing it? Okay. So what we do is before a meeting, okay, when you find someone that you have what we call reason to believe that they are going to be transacting in the next 3, 6 to 9 months, right? Before you get the meeting, I want you to call them 3 times a week, okay? If by chance you don't have the opportunity to call them 3 times a week, call them 3 times one week, 2 times the next week, 3 times one week, 2 times the next week, okay? Think of it this way. Does anybody else in your life ever call you 3 times a week and then twice the next week, then 3 times a week and twice the next week? No other vendors are doing it, and persistence pays off. Remember, folks, everybody has caller ID today. So don't worry about people yelling at you. Yes. Are you going to have rude people on the phone? Yes. But is it really nice to cash a 6-figure check or a multiple 6-figure commission check because you stayed after it? Okay. Trust me, folks, it is fun beyond belief when all that persistence pays off. Okay. So before you take the meeting, make sure you're calling them 3 times a week. If you want to call them 3 times one week and twice the next week, that's awesome. Very, very important. Okay. Now, after 4 weeks, let's say still before the meeting, right? After 4 weeks, you can drop it down to 2 times a week. Okay. So in the first month, you've called them 3 times, then 2 times, then 3 times, then 2 times. That's 10 times in a 30-day period. Then you can drop it down to twice a week. Okay. So that's going to give you for the next month, you're going to call them 8 times. Now, after 8 weeks, you could drop it down to once a week. Because here's the thing. You are going to 100% of the time leave a friendly message, okay? So you're going to leave a message and they're going to know that you called. So they're going to, in the first month, get you 10 times, the second month, get you 8 times, third month, get you 4 times. Trust me, they're going to know exactly who you are after you've left 22 voice messages in a 90-day period. You with me? Okay? So you don't have to worry about them not knowing who you are. Now, after 12 weeks, you can just call them once a month, because what you want to do is, typically most people that make buying decisions, they don't oftentimes do it in the first 90 days. They do it in the next 90 days. So it's very important to follow up. Very, very important. Now, if they give you a logistical reason, so what another question that people come is like, what if they give me a reason that's valid, but like, how often do I follow up then? Perfect. Okay. They say, listen, I'm going to be in Spain for the next 3 weeks. Okay. I'll go ahead and call me when I get back. Call me in 4 weeks. Okay. Whatever they tell you, cut about 20% off and start calling them then, because what they're telling you is, I'm going to be making the decision in 4 weeks, right? You don't want to be there once they have made the decision. You want to be in the flow of their life, in their face, in their space, and in their place, okay, before they make the decision. So if they say, hey, I'm going to Spain, I'll be back in a few weeks, call me in 4 weeks, call them a week before, I promise. It'll work, okay? If they say call me in 2 months, call them in a month and a half. If they say call me in 6 months, call them in 5, okay? But it has to be a logistical reason, and something like what we call like an important event is be, I'm waiting for the end of tax season. Totally normal. I'm waiting to settle up my divorce, which should be done in 2 months. I'm waiting for the end of the business year to do anything, business wise. Okay, these are actual events that kind of like will precipitate action. Very, very important. Okay. So, but again, do not, if they tell you to call them in a month, don't call them in a month. They'll already have made the decision and moved on, and you will not be there. Okay. So whatever they say, call them back between 75 and 80% of that time. Okay. Now, that's all before you book a meeting. After you book a meeting, I highly recommend that you follow up with them weekly. Okay. Take 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock in your calendar every Friday, okay? Because a lot of people like to make decisions on a Friday. Most people don't know. This is so awesome. Most people don't realize that the vast majority of decisions in this business are done on Fridays. It's like a psychological barrier, and people want to get things done by Friday. What I would highly recommend is you go out, you get the business taken care of, and during the week, and then on Friday, after you're done with your prospecting, go and follow up with everybody that you've been on an appointment with in the last 3-6 months, whatever that might be. It might only be 20 or 30 people, but I promise you it'll be the best hour of the day that you spend. Okay. Every Friday from 10 to 11, 10 to 12, depending on how many people you have to follow up with. They're most likely to make decisions on Fridays. I've seen it over and over and over again. I've had countless leases and contracts and listing appointments and listing agreements signed on Fridays. Probably 60% of the business gets done on Fridays. So do not let off the gas. Make sure you're smashing on the gas and flying through the finish line. Okay. 90-day rule. Okay. Of all the people that are looking for a service, only 15% will act upon it in the first 90 days, which means that of the people that are looking for a service, 85% will do business from 90 days to 18 months. Okay. Very, very important. Okay. So just remember, folks, that of all the people, right, most of them are not going to make that decision right then and there. So you have to be there in their face, in their space, and in their place, right? Very, very important. You have to keep up with them. If you just took the simple principles that we talked about today, follow up with people in 75 to 80% of the time that they tell you, if there's a logical reason for it. Okay. If you follow up with people for the first month, 3 times a week, then twice a week, then 3 times a week, then twice a week. Okay. And then in month 2, you do it twice a week. And then in month 3, once a week. And then after month 3, you follow up with them once a month. I promise you, you'll have established yourself in their life, and you'll stay in the flow, and you'll have been well on your way to creating the rapport that you need. But remember, folks, the 90-day rule, most people don't make decisions in 90 days. If they're expired and they're coming back on the market, they're like, you know what, I'm growing tired of that, but let me just give it a few months. 3 months later, they're like, you know what, I still want to get this property sold, and let's get this thing done. Okay, so very, very important, folks. So I hope that's helped you. Okay, if you've got some value out of it, go ahead and comment below. If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're watching us on Spotify or on any of the other platforms, make sure you like and subscribe and follow us. We would love to have you, so we can start amassing the right kind of content for you. So let us know what your biggest takeaways were, and so we can create content for you, whatever is going to help you the most. Okay. But if you want to learn more, if you want to get your business up and running, you want to learn, this is just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to learn how to create the whole process of how to become a commercial listing agent, we can help you do that in 6 months or less. Go ahead and reach out to us at www.commercialsalesforagents.com. It's our Facebook group. Someone from the team, if you enter into the group, someone from our team will reach out to you, and we can schedule a time to talk on the phone and see how we might be able to help you. We have a 6-month training course that can get you up and running and taking between 2 and 4 listings a month in 6 months or less. All right, folks. So I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk soon.